Good morning. Welcome to our 30-minute live session. I'm Ify, your go-to immigration lawyer here in Charlotte, North Carolina, sharing tips to help you as you go through your green card process. So, join us if you are applying for your green card through marriage, if you're newlywed, especially if you don't live together with your spouse. Today I'm going to tell you how you can prepare your package in a convincing way to prove that your marriage is real and you should get a green card. All right? Again, I'm Ify. My number is on the screen. You can give me a call if you need legal representation to file your green card with the USCIS. All right. We are live, Facebook, YouTube. Thank you for joining. Share this live with your friends. Let's get on TikTok, because on TikTok, we get tons of questions about marriage-based green cards. So I want to make sure every one of you, my followers, get to learn about your best options as you navigate the U.S. immigration system. That's why we are here, to make it as easy as possible for you to understand the options, especially when there's some complications in your case, right? Like not living together is some sort of red flag, especially when we're talking about marriage-based green card. But if you understand how to prepare your case, if for whatever reason you just don't live with your spouse, then you're able to understand that that doesn't disqualify you necessarily just because you don't meet that criteria, right? Because having a lease together obviously is very convincing evidence, but if for whatever reason you don't have a lease and you're able to prove that, I recently responded to a notice of intent to deny for this client who came to me after he filed. We did an interview prep for him and his spouse because obviously they don't live together. And during the interview, they still weren't able to convince the USCIS that this marriage was real, right? So he received the NOID. NOID stands for Notice of Intent to Deny, all right? He received the Notice of Intent to Deny, and the only way he was able to get approved within 2 weeks is because we told him, listen, you have to give them a timeline of your relationship from beginning to end. How do you all make a relationship work? If you're proving that you're together to build a future, right? And you don't live together, how do you make it work? So what's the timeline? Every month, how often do you see each other? If you're traveling, you need proof of that trip that you're taking, right? So those are the things people don't think about when they don't live together with their spouse. Mohammed Ahmed, thank you for your question. Thank you for being here. See lots of you joining on TikTok. Remember to invite your friends, share this live, and follow me also on social media for weekly Q&As like this, where I'm going to be answering a lot of your frequently asked questions and also answering you live. So if you have any question relating to getting your green card through marriage, you're welcome to ask in the comments and I'll answer you as soon as I can. I'm seeing questions, trying to keep everything and everyone in mind. All right, someone says, I would like to call you. Somehow that question got blocked. I would like to call you. My number, I'm going to pin it in the comments here on TikTok so you can reach out to me by phone so we can help you get started on your immigration case. All right. Mohammed Ahmed says, can NOID be produced on a N400 without an interview? Well, NOID is a notice of intent to deny. So if for whatever reason they can tell that you do not qualify for naturalization, maybe your taxes or Well, yeah, if you're not paying your taxes, yes, good moral character or criminal reasons, whatever reason, they're gonna deny your N-400 potentially. But for the most part, you get denied at all. Is it really a denial? And then you just, it depends on the reason for denial, right? If it's maybe because your green card is not valid, maybe you didn't get it, you got it through marriage fraud. I mean, whatever reason, you would have to go before the USCIS for another hearing if you get denied. So I don't know if they really do NOIDs for that, but it really depends. Um, what reasons would a green card get denied? A green card would get denied if you don't prove the bona fide relationship, if you don't prove your spouse's income, if you are inadmissible for some reason because you misrepresented your income. Well, not your income. You misrepresented your intent when you're coming to the USA, right? Or just other inadmissibilities. You committed a crime. Those are some reasons why I could get denied. Okay. Sometimes USCIS gives well, I don't know how to put this because we're live, so let me not say too much. But sometimes some denials can be, you can just do a motion to reopen because it wasn't a very strong reason for denial. Maybe you just didn't submit a form or something, a proof of citizenship for your spouse. You just submit that, right? But if it's a reason like misrepresentation, you would have to, um, yeah, you have to file a waiver of inadmissibility before you can just ask them to reopen it. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that question. Elizabeth on YouTube, thank you very much for your question. Elizabeth says, how much income is required? If this is a question about the I-864 for the US citizen, the income is going to be dependent on your family size. So, how many people are in your family? There's a link here from the USCIS website. You can check it out. That will show you the income that's going to be required per your family size. So, for a family of two, I believe it's somewhere around $26,000 a year for the U.S. citizen. Do you do VAWA? Yes, I do VAWA. VAWA self-petition. That's for those who are married to a U.S. citizen, but then you're experiencing some sort of abuse or neglect or something else going on. Thanks for the follow, Mohammed Thomas. Thank you very much. Make sure you share this live so that people can know that we're here answering questions about immigration. And feel free to give me a call. My number is actually already on the live. Let me know if you can see that. Give me a thumbs up. And let me know where you're watching me from, actually. Let me get these people on Instagram in here. Let me know where you're watching me from, guys. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, but we'll help clients all over the USA. Okay. For application for D260, can you change the interview location? DS260, if you're talking about the application for your immigrant spousal visa, you could potentially change the interview location depending on if there are several reasons why you could do that. Yeah, so yes, you can. Can a spouse file under abandonment even if I didn't apply for a green card? Lucky D, I'm not sure I understand your question. From Philadelphia, Mohammed, thank you for being here. I want to see if I missed some questions from the beginning. Some people who joined me when we started. Today is Thursday, and we're live every Tuesday and Thursday. So thank you all who were waiting and joined us live today. In today's live, I'm going to be discussing how to prepare your package if you're filing a green card through marriage and you don't live together with your spouse. It's a frequently asked question because there are many reasons why people don't live together with their spouse. But I'm here to tell you that you can still apply for your green card. You can still get approved if you don't live together. You just have to be strategic in the way you're preparing your application. And at this law firm, we help clients prepare their applications, file it with USCIS, and also monitor the progress to make sure that there are no complications that arise. We're also going to actually screen for any misrepresentation or criminal reasons. Someone asked earlier, what are the reasons why a green card will get denied? I'm like, well, they get denied if you're inadmissible, for one, if you had any misrepresentation in your prior applications, or if you committed a crime while you're in the USA, right? Those are the reasons why you could potentially get denied. Okay. All right. If I missed your question, please feel free to ask again, especially on TikTok. There's a lot of you asking questions. Thank you very much. I see you all on Instagram as well. Thank you for joining. We're here live, answering questions and sharing tips, helping those of you who are newlyweds, especially. I know for the clients I've helped with this type of situation, usually like in their early 20s, probably living at home with their parents. So they don't live together. That's definitely a concern because obviously you're claiming you want to build a future together. So you should be able to show them evidence of, how you're doing that, right? And living together is like the easiest step there is. So all right, I'm not seeing any questions that I missed. I think it was Muhammad Ahmed. The other question was about finding a job for someone outside the USA. That wouldn't be something that we'll handle. At this law firm, we handle family-based immigration cases and every other thing that arises from that, like a VAWA self-petition, for example. That's really underneath a family-based case, right? Because your family, who was supposed to file for you, became abusive and started to use the green card situation to control you. Anything you do, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to call immigration," or in fact, "I'm divorced," to just threatening your life because they're filing for you. In those situations, we can help you. Sometimes it's children to parents, parents to children, so it's not always spousal, right? And we can help you with that one to make sure that you're able to prove that the relationship is bona fide in the beginning, because that's another reason why your green card will get denied. If you don't show enough evidence that the marriage is real or the relationship is bona fide, you can get denied for that. Okay. On Instagram, thank you very much for joining. Tosin says, I'm a green card holder. My husband lives in the UK. Can I file from the UK for him to join me? Okay, this is a typical consular process for a spousal visa, right? Meaning you're a permanent resident in the USA or US citizen, you live in the USA and your spouse lives abroad. In this type of scenario, of course, you can file for your spouse to join you in the US by starting with the I-130 petition. That's one of the things I was actually going to discuss today. So let's just get into that. That's one of the ways that you meet the criteria. You have to provide the documents required, and one of the documents is your I-130 petition. Right, your I-130 petition is where you, as the U.S. citizen or the permanent resident, is able to prove that the relationship is legitimate. Right, this is your opportunity where you're submitting your photographs, your tickets, your proof of communications, your text. You can show that. You can show your children's birth certificates if you have children together, because that's evidence of your life together. Your bank statements together, that's how you tell them that your finances are commingled, because you're not going to commingle finances with someone you're not, really serious about, right? So that's how you do it. So that's the step one. So you can do that when your spouse is abroad. If your spouse is in the USA, you can do that first, or the best route is to do it in one shot. And I'll explain further about one shot process for those of you who are in the USA together, but you don't live together. All right. Okay. All right. Tosin says, what if I'm in the UK? Can I file from there? If you're in the UK, you can file from there so long as you have ties in the US, right? You're a permanent resident, so you're definitely going to come back, right? What are you doing? Are you just visiting, or what's going on there? Because if you're visiting, all these things are You can do it virtually. Essentially, if you hire our law firm, we operate virtually. We can prepare all these documents. You can file it online. Okay. And if anyone that needs to be filed by mail can be sent out and monitored here as well. Okay. So I'm going to keep on answering the questions on TikTok. If I missed yours, please ask again and I'll try to answer as soon as I see it. All right. Okay. My 601 got approved, green card. My 601 is approved, green card. Is that a problem with applying for citizenship in your N400? What kind of issue was the 601 about? If it's criminal stuff, when it comes to citizenship, they're looking 5 years before you actually become a U.S. citizen. So that's how they're going to determine basically if you qualify to become a U.S. citizen. Okay, Shay, you asked a question. I'm going to find it soon. You said you met a man here in the U.S., so you have a visitor's visa, you're getting married. How to change your status? Okay, Shay, give me a thumbs up if you're still here. I definitely want to tell you how to adjust your status. If you entered the USA on a tourist visa or immigrant visa, non-immigrant visa, a visa that is temporary, right? Student visa, any type of non-immigrant visa, and you're marrying a U.S. citizen. Thank you, Shay. Get married to a U.S. citizen. First of all, make sure that you're not getting married or adjusting your status before 90 days because that's already going to create some misrepresentation for you, okay? Because you need to essentially wait or prove, right, that you had a different intent when you were coming in, all right? So once you're married to the U.S. citizen, how to adjust your status is to file a one-shot process, filing the I-130. Angela says who files the I-130. In this case, this would be the U.S. citizen. So the U.S. citizen is the one who fills out the I-130 is that's their information to say I'm the U.S. citizen, basically petitioning my non-citizen spouse to come to the U.S., okay? So Angela, Shay, they fill out the I-130. You fill out the I-485, which is the adjustment of status application. That's how you essentially, there are other things you have to prove in this. You have to provide the proof of income, proof that you're admissible, right? Because you're showing your I-94 and proof that you actually entered with inspection. Okay. Yeah. Tosin, if you're a citizen of the UK, you're trying to apply for your husband to be a permanent resident. How is he gonna what's the plan? Are you coming to the USA? Are you gonna move to the USA? Because you need to have ties to the US to file this, okay? So Shay, this process takes, and for those of you watching me, I know you're applying for your green card and you're interested in knowing the timeline. So just listen up to this about the timeline. So the process is going to take anywhere from 12 months to 24 months, basically a year to 2 years, all right? It is a long process. Island Girl says 11 months. It could take just a range of times. One of my clients experienced 3 months, 89 days to be exact. Okay. And that was just a miracle. So it really can range from anywhere. But if yours is taking about a year, that's not unusual. Just understand that the usual time is within a year, 2 years max, if there's any complications in your case. All right. And thank you all very much for participating. I see lots and lots of questions coming in on TikTok. So I'm going to keep trying to answer them. But please give me a call. I started this so you can book a one-on-one time with me so I can get into detail of what's going on with a particular issue, because you all know that this live is not legal advice, right? We're just here in a public forum, thankful for the internet, for social media, so I'm able to reach thousands and thousands of views. So please reach out to me for a one-on-one call. Let's discuss in detail what's going on with your case, all right? So someone says petition withdrawn I-130 at the I-130 interview, and I was to send the NOID after 1 year. I got denied. Can I do VAWA? Well, yes, and really that's just a general answer, because if you experience abuse, you can always do a VAWA self-petition, even if the I-130 was withdrawn, even if you're divorced, as long as it's within 2 years, right? So the what you need to have is that you have a legitimate relationship with a U.S. citizen and you were abused. That's the criteria for VAWA. All right. So it is unfortunate that that happened to you, but I've seen that happen a lot where the I-130 gets withdrawn for whatever reason. At the interview, if you didn't go with a lawyer, sometimes people get bullied, they get scared, or the spouse is like, I'm not going, or they just try to sabotage the interview on purpose. So that happens. All right. Thank you very much for your question. Hi, what are the forms I need to fill out for my green card? I'm in the USA. All right, I can't see your name here on TikTok, but thank you very much for that question. Earlier, I was talking to Shay and Angela, talking about getting their green card or how to adjust status. Essentially, since you're in the USA, you're adjusting your status, right? You came in on one status and you're adjusting to another. The reason why those people who entered in without a visa are not able to adjust is because they don't have any status to adjust from, right? So they're just essentially needing to go and get a visa to come in. All right. So if you're in the USA, you're looking to adjust your status, you're going to need your I-130 petition and you're going to need your adjustment of status form. Right. You can send them all together at once. That's the one-shot process. You're also going to need to show proof of income. Somebody did ask about that on YouTube. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Hi, Mr. Tusk. Thank you again for being here on YouTube. Yeah. So, but the income requirement is going to be dependent on your family size. So if you have a family size of 2, it's going to be somewhere around 25, 26K a year. All right. So you prove your income as well, and also prove that you are admissible by showing them evidence of your entry and all of that. That's how you do it. In that process, you can also request to get your work permit, your travel permit, because once you apply to adjust your status, you shouldn't be traveling outside the USA. So for Tosin on my Instagram, who's talking about living in the UK but filing for a husband here, I think there's another scenario of something like that. Someone who's planning to apply for Canadian citizenship or something also wants to file for her husband to become a US citizen, to become a permanent resident. I'm like, are you going to live in the USA or in Canada? Because you have to have domicile in the US as a US citizen to file this thing, okay? All right. Thank you all for your questions. Someone says, how do I book a consultation? You can book a consultation by giving me a call. My number is on the screen. It is 919-925-2295. You can give me a call or a text. I'll send you the link to book a call with me. You can also speak to my paralegal as well. If you're not really sure what your case is about, if you just need to talk to someone about any complications you're facing, you can talk to my paralegal. Her calendar is also available to help you to evaluate your case and then see if you're a good fit. We can definitely help you sign up. Okay? All right. You're very welcome, Shay. And more questions. So J&J says, my husband won't file an I-130 for me. What can I do? I have 2 children with no financial support. This is very unfortunate, J&J. Thank you for sharing that question with us. I've heard this before, actually, and I'm wondering, J&J, are you outside the USA or where are you? Because, this happened to someone who was stuck outside the USA, and the husband wouldn't file, that's a sad situation because you can't even force someone to file, right? So if you're in the USA, great, you can definitely reach out to us. Let's do a self petition for you. All right, because if you have children together and there's no financial support, that's basically financial abuse, emotional abuse, all sorts of abuse mixed in there. I'm pretty sure there's other verbal things that are being said, because what's the reason why you don't have your green card right now? Okay. Yeah. So who are the children? So who are the people that you're thinking? You said you have 2 children, or they're your children, not his children. I see. That sucks. Yeah, definitely reach out to us. Let's talk about getting you a self petition. Yeah, understood. All right. Miss AE, thanks for sharing. Under domestic violence with my husband, but he already applied for Form I-485. Can I self-petition? You can always switch your I-130 petition to a self-petition if abuse arises during the process. Okay. There are different things you have to do in between to make sure that your I-485 does not get denied or you don't get called for an interview. Because if you get called for an interview, you have to go with your spouse. And if your spouse is abusive, right, you're not going to be able to meet up that whole thing. And then next year you get denied, you might get put in removal proceedings. So you need to act fast. If your husband if you already know that you're experiencing domestic violence, so definitely reach out for some assistance and get out of that situation before it's too late. All right. Thank you for the share, Joanne. Thank you very much. Can I divorce while waiting on my green card through VAWA? Tam, yes, you can. You can get a divorce. Even if you're already divorced right now, you can still file VAWA, so long as you haven't been divorced for more than 2 years. Okay? So you can definitely file a divorce. Let's see here. The question, please, how can I know my asylum hours is working? I'm not sure what that means. Your asylum hours, did you file for asylum? Did you get a receipt notice for your filing or what? What's going on there? Let us know. On Instagram, good morning, Sylvester. Life of Vida, good morning. Thank you all for joining. Wave. They still do the waves on Instagram. Facebook and YouTube is one that they just did not upgrade their live things. But at least on TikTok, we can give hearts and different ways to say hello. So to your question, Faye, you say good morning. Well, can they deny my visa if I've worked with an expired permit? Deny your visa. What kind of visa? Spousal visa, non-immigrant visa, like B1, B2, or what? Or applying for adjustment of status. If you're applying to adjust your status and you worked without permission, that's some sort of inadmissibility, right? One of the reasons why green cards get denied, yeah? So that could come into play. Give me more details about what type of visa you're applying for. All right. Thanks for the follow, guys. 26-year-old graduates, fresh graduates, okay? Congrats. Is there any chance for me to immigrate? You're from Pakistan. Yeah, well, as far as immigrating, you need a petitioner, you need an employer or a spouse, a family member to file a petition for you. So if you have any of those, you can potentially get your green card or get a visa, like a work visa, to come in here and work. What did you graduate from? What is the correct immigration contact to check the status of social security number and green card? Well, you can check your case status on USCIS website, just under case status. Just go to uscis.gov or .com. Let's check. USCIS.gov, yeah. All right. I text you this morning. I'm going to be a client with you. I'm working on saving money. Okay. Thank you very much for coming to us. What's your case about? What's your question about, if you don't mind sharing? Let's see. I don't think we've spoken yet together. Did we speak already? Oh, Faye, you're getting a spousal petition visa. Well, if you worked unauthorized, I'm not sure where you worked. Are you in the USA? Let me know. Does the 90-day apply from the day you enter hold on. Are you asking about filing marriage-based green card 90 days after you enter? I believe the 90 days starts from when you enter. This is for Yards on TikTok. Can I call you right now? Yes, you can call me right now. Give me a call. Spoke to Olivia. Okay. All right. Well, cool. I hope that we get to speak directly soon. One day sounds like you're getting a lot of resources and help there. So definitely call me right now and you can get some assistance. All right. Good morning. My wife filed I-130 for me over 2 years now. The status is showing case under review for 2 years now. What? Only I-130 2 years? When I say a year to a year and a half, I mean I-130, like both processes, especially for those abroad. And if you are in the USA, essentially is going to be that same year and a half for both of them at the same time, right? So, but I-130 taking 2 years is definitely something amiss there, Sylvester. So give us a call. Let's look into that for you. Have you contacted an attorney about this or even called USCIS? Like, what have you done since you've been checking the case? Yeah? Is it okay to upload bona fide evidence online in your online account? Shy, it is fine. That's why you have the online account to upload evidence if needed. So I think there's a place for adding additional evidence, but make sure you're not adding anything that's going to complicate your case further. Okay? All right. So my dad is in the USA and he applied for an immigrant visa for me. It's been 4 years. I'm waiting for appointment. Are you under 21 or over 21, Mr. Obi? Because if you're an adult child of a U.S. citizen, it's going to take a couple years. All right. Does my sponsor need to show taxes if they get money from a deceased family member? It's over $26,000 they make yearly. Your sponsor will need to show taxes. I don't understand the part about the deceased family member, but whoever is filing an I-130 family petition needs to prove their income, showing their 3 years of taxes, showing their W-2s, pay stubs. If you're self-employed, you show your 12 months of bank statements or whatever you have for your self-employment income. Okay. All right. So why the USCIS transfer my case to a jurisdiction? Is it a bad thing? USCIS sometimes transfers cases for different reasons. And I don't think that's anything bad. Okay. Just let them process it within the processing time. If it's getting past that processing time, there are ways you can expedite your case or file a lawsuit. Actually, like for you, Mr. Sylvester, with an I-130 of 2 years, that's actually getting ridiculous. So let's definitely talk about some options. Good morning, Phoenix Queen. I do practice all over the USA, so I do practice in Massachusetts. Immigration is federal law, so it's the same all around. But if we're talking things like divorce, family custody, things like that, those are very specific to the state. So you need an attorney in your state. If we're talking immigration, I can help all over the USA. All right. So Ofe says, I arrived in the USA when I was 2 years old and I had DACA and that gave me a work permit. Instead of renewing it, my husband filed I-130 and just sent the embassy package. We're waiting for the interview back. I see. So if you're a DACA recipient, you never got an I-131 to travel, because I wouldn't even, most of my DACA recipient clients who are filing for their marriage-based green card, they get their I-131, they travel out, get the I-94, because you need to prove that admissibility, right? So I feel like that would have been the route out of taking versus doing the MVC consular process. But, because that's when you're worried about triggering any form of inadmissibility when you're returning. So you might have to do an I-601. So do you do an I-601A? Because as a DACA recipient, that means you enter without a visa the first time at 2, right? Okay. Let's see. I see tons and tons of questions that I just haven't answered, and I appreciate you all for still being here. I'm going to try to scroll through and see if I missed or any ones I can get. Let's see. Okay. Or maybe it's just the same ones because I've seen the petition withdrawn one several times. Okay, so I've answered those ones, and let's see. All right. Well, I'll just start from the one I just see down here. Does the 90-day rule apply to H-2B visa? H-2B, what visa is that? That's some sort of employment visa. I believe the 90-day rule is in place to help with any type of misrepresentation or intent issues, to know that you entered in on one visa and you're switching to another type of visa. So for work visas, you just simply need to not be out of status when you're switching. As far as intent, I believe that might actually be the same rule, because if you're entering on a B1, B2 visa, it's not a work visa, right? And you're switching to another type of visa, But I don't think it's all that straightforward with work switching from B1, B2 to a work visa. All right. I paid for an unlawful waiver. Okay, the I-601A, unlawful presence waiver. All right, cool. Because I believe that's going to be needed in your situation. So, but I wish you the best. I mean, this stuff does work, so it will work in your case. It's just sometimes it's best to not leave the USA. I have this one potential client who came to me after, like, I was just so furious because he already accepted the deal, and I just don't know how we can help him backtrack on that, because once you're inadmissible in any way and you leave, you never really know how long it's going to take for you to be able to come back without facing any potential bans or delays. Even though you file the waiver in the USA, like you file I-601A, and you go back, they could get you on another inadmissibility, like maybe the working unauthorized, because I-601A is for unlawful presence, right? But what about unauthorized work or misrepresentation or criminal stuff? Those are also inadmissibilities that maybe you didn't even think about. And then when you're now in another country, next thing you know, the consular process takes forever, and like that. But it's all good. Let's just keep it positive and know that once that you're doing the right thing, everything's gonna work out for you. Okay. All right. Switching from a visitor's visa to a work visa. Someone just asked about that. Again, this is the same thing for any of you looking to adjust your status. You would need to have a petitioner. If it's for a family petitioner or an employer petitioner, you're going to make sure you're in status, especially if your spouse is a permanent resident. If your spouse is a U.S. citizen or your family member is a U.S. citizen, sometimes you get waivers of such inadmissibilities. Um, but if not, you might have to file the I-601, like I'm telling Ofe over here on Instagram. Okay. So Tapa says they don't file taxes but can prove the income. Is this doable? You have to file taxes if you're a petitioner. I believe I was answering part of that question earlier, talking about how much the sponsors need to make and show. So wherever they're getting their income from, they need to file taxes. That's one of the requirements, all right? Because remember, we're dealing with the government entity here, the same IRS, USCIS, they're all brothers and sisters. So they're going to make sure that you're not not doing what you're supposed to do. Okay, just make sure you file your taxes. That's all I can say. All right. Good morning, my VAWA. We applied in 2020. It was approved in 2022. I-45 filed concurrently. I-45 still pending. Okay, Princess. This is typical, right, with this type of filing, because number one, it takes a while. right? Hey, it takes a while for your I-485. I mean, for the I-360. First of all, so now that they're doing the I-45, they're starting from the beginning. So they weren't processing it when they were doing your I-360. Okay, so it's pretty standard if you're gonna be waiting for the I-45. Okay, the Cora, what's your question? Can I file for my daughter while having my 4-year extension to file the removal of conditions without spouse? Okay. Uh, yes, you can file. So you're asking to file a petition as a permanent resident for your daughter while you are waiting to remove conditions. And the answer is really yes. But if you do get denied for your green card, obviously her own process get denied. At this point, you're still a permanent resident, so you can definitely file for your daughter, right? But this is a complicated situation. You should speak to an attorney about, because it's if you're filing a waiver of or waiver of the spouse signature for your I-751, then that means there's already an issue there as to, is your marriage going to be bona fide? Like, what's really going on? All right. Thank you all for joining and watching me live, and for all your questions. I believe we're almost getting to the point where we round up the live, because I do have consultations in between these lives. As much as I like staying here to answer these questions, I want you all to give me a call to talk about it one-on-one. So if I'm missing your questions, definitely give me a call. All right. Phoenix Queen, we provide our quotes during the consultation. Excuse me. We provide quotes during our consultation, so please give me a call. Let's talk about that. All right. Some of these questions are about work visas, and we help with family-based immigrations. And I'm going to try to answer you as much as I can, but I want you to know that you need to talk with an experienced immigration attorney for employment-based, because there's some complications. It's not quite the same as family-based. There's some requirements, okay, that you need to know about. Okay. Omar says, I have 2 college degrees and I'm in the USA on a B1, B2. What ways can I have a green card? So if you're talking about your education and not your family, then that means you will need to apply for some type of work visa, like I'm saying. Can you go for a student visa and then go for H-1B? It's like a long route, right? What are the things you can actually do to get this green card? All right, that's how you would get a green card. But for those of you applying for a green card through marriage, in the beginning of this live, we're talking about how to prepare your package if you don't live together. That's a big deal, because not living together could be a red flag to show whether the marriage is actually legit. So if you don't live together, make sure that you have tons and tons of evidence showing your history, your timeline from the day you met, each and every month, what you do, how you communicate. I'm saying the history is very important, right? That will show the true intent, and maybe also the reason why you're actually apart. Is it financial? Is it because of work? Is it because of school? Are you in your early 20s still living at home? So many reasons. And whoever you're living with should be able to write something to as your lease, right? Because now you don't even have a lease. You're living with roommates, those types of things. People in those categories still get approved to their green card. I believe if you're newlywed and you're getting your temporary green card, you still have 2 years after you get the green card to prove that the marriage is real. So your assignment at that point is to continue to gather evidence each and every month, showing the USCIS how this relationship is real or continues to build and grow. Because you're not going to live in your parents' house forever. So once you do graduate from school, or once somebody is able to find a job in the other city, then you can now start gathering those really strong evidence, right? Like your financials, your joint bank accounts, perhaps that you use to pay your bills together, the house that you're living in together, right? So that's essentially that. Let's see. Thanks for the shares and the likes and all the questions. Today has been very interesting, lots and lots of questions. And I know we could definitely stay on longer, but definitely want you all to give us a call today. And I see the phone lines already flooded with calls. Thank you very much for those of you calling. We're going to get you the assistance that you need to make sure that you are feeling safe in the USA to pursue your purpose and your dreams and be free. Okay? All right. More questions here before I round it up, and then I'll see you tomorrow. Is tomorrow Friday? Yeah, tomorrow is Friday. We have another live session on Friday within the group. So join our Facebook group and we can also talk one-on-one there. But anyways, the question I'm seeing here says, my husband sponsored me. I have a green card. Do I have to wait 5 years for citizenship? Thank you very much for that question. I can't see your name, but I appreciate you for joining. That's a typical question that we get, wanting to know how long before you can become a U.S. citizen. If you got your green card through marriage, it's going to be 3 years. If you're still married to your spouse and everything's still going good. But if you're divorced from your spouse, or if you get your green card through any other means, it's going to be 5 years. For someone like me, I had to wait for 5 years to file for my citizenship. So that's the general rule for filing, right? Hope that makes sense. Right, and to file that U.S. citizenship, right, it is, well, you need to still go with your spouse if you got your green card through marriage, because they're going to ask you questions about your bona fide marriage. This is because they're trying to establish that you actually did qualify for your green card when you got it. So this bona fide marriage thing is going to come up, like, it's going to just keep coming up until you finally become a citizen, and then you're done, right? But that should not deter you from filing a divorce from an abuser. If you're in a relationship that's just not working, please leave and get your green card through a self-petition, okay? And you can still get your citizenship, okay? All right. If I'm on a K-1 visa after marriage, do you file an I-485? Yes. J, you file an I-485 after the marriage. It's not going to be automatic. The I-29F or K-9 visa petition that you filed was just to prove the relationship, right? You need to still now prove that you're admissible. I had one client recently. He just got his green card, actually, but he was under the impression that since he came in on a K-1 visa, relationship was good. I-485 should be good too, but shockingly, that I-485 got denied for inadmissibility, misrep, okay? Because they look at your entire immigration history. Misrep, so we had to do an I-601 waiver of inadmissibility and do the I-485 again. And now he got that green card. Okay, so make sure that you're admissible. Make sure you provide evidence of that in your I-485. Also, evidence of income for your fiance, now spouse. Okay, that's what goes with the I-485, the evidence of the income, evidence of your admissibility. And if you want to work and still travel out during that process, you also submit it at that time as well. Okay. All right. So how many years does VAWA green card last before renewal? It's going to be, well, you get your 10-year green card if you're filing with the VAWA self-petition, because you most likely been married to your spouse for more than 2 years at that point. VAWA takes 3 years, so usually people get 10-year green card. Then after that, you can, after 5 years, or whatever, you get your citizenship. That's it. Or if you want to just keep on being a permanent resident, you just renew after 10 years. All right. All right. Callie, thank you for your question. That's the last one I'll answer, and then I'll be off. All right. My 10-year residency card expired 2 years ago. Can I renew or apply for citizenship? Can I travel? What? Callie says her green card expired 2 years ago. Why did you wait for 2 years? Like, you can't travel, obviously. Try to renew it and before you even apply for your citizenship, because you need to make sure you're still able to be a permanent resident. Did you lose your residency or what happened? How have you been working and living? Okay. Yeah. It takes 3 to 6 months to get your work permit, depending on where you are. Sometimes it can take up to a year. All right. On Instagram, thanks for joining. We're here. It's been about 15 minutes on this live. We're usually here 30 to 45 minutes every Tuesday and Thursday. So right now I am getting ready to join a consultation, but I'm going to answer this last question on Instagram. And I've said that like a lot of times, but that's just because I love answering those questions and I see so many of it coming in. So, but I'm going to cut it off and come back tomorrow. Okay. All right. My husband works abroad. We need to file for a green card for him. Can we do it while he's abroad? Luminous, yes, we can. This is a typical spousal visa petition. You're doing the I-130 petition, and then you're filing the DS-260 after the I-130 is approved. Very typical, very common. It will take about a year, 2 years for him to finally come to the USA, but it is possible. Okay. Again, my number is on the screen. My link is in the bio if you want to just book with me directly. You can check out my website as well, marriagegreencard.us. You're going to be able to find out more information about our services, other things that we offer. And there will be a link to book a call with me or with my paralegal if you're looking to just find out information about your case. You're not ready to sign up, but if you do have something going on with you that you need to sign up, you need some legal advice, please talk to me. Let's get you some help. All right. Again, I'm Ify, your go-to immigration lawyer here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Excited to help you all over the USA. Thank you for your support, for watching me live, for asking me questions. Without you, I'll just be here talking to myself. So thank you again. Appreciate you, my team, everyone else who helps me every day to do this. All right. Thank you. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.